And you would see people fighting in the room, bro. They'd be going like this, Harry. They'd be like, "Ah, it's my number one asset." No, it's the bank's number one asset, right?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Dave, but in the end, the one what really has been impressive is for me. I'm again. I read the same book. Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and when I was working in London, in a pub in Euston Station, they were paying me $5.75 per hour back then. It was not even £6 per hour. And I'm like, I'm spending more than I'm making. You see, when I pay my oyster card, when I pay my food, when I pay everything, I'm like, I'm working Monday to Sunday in the pub in Houston Station. The same company used to own a franchise underneath the pub. There was Threshers. The company is not around anymore in UK, but they sell wine. And I was working in the pub Monday to Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday in Treasures downstairs. The pub was on the second floor, Treasure was in the bottom floor. And Monday to Sunday, saying to the pub, luckily the manager Paul give me more. I tell Paul, you need to give me hours because I cannot make it to the end of the month. And Paul was giving me hours in the pub or in the or in the wine store to make sure that I work, that I'm full. Several shifts, several hours from Monday to Sunday, and still I'm going home. I go pay and checking my thing, and by the time that I pay rent, the oysters, food, this and that, I'm spending more than I'm making, and this is frustrated. Then my dad got sick, got cancer and got an operation in Spain. I don't even have £1 to go to see him, to say him mercy, to see how he's doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like so frustrated with the whole situation. And then I took I'm looking at my bill and my expenses, and I see oyster 100, food whatever, this whatever, and I'm saying rent 60%. 60% of the whole income was rent. And I'm like, oh boy, this is what the problem is. So I went.
How do I receive it, right? How do I receive it rather than spend it? Yeah.
So I went to property business out of necessity. Yeah. So when it is frustration, you see, I'm seeing this bill, and then I took the book. One of these nights that I couldn't sleep because I'm so stressed out I cannot even sleep, and then I took the book of Robert Kiyosaki. I read that, put that. I read this book in 4 hours. When it was open, and then I was bank open 9 a.m. I went there and I asked for a loan for £3,000. They couldn't lend me more money because with my salary, So and with that money I rented the first property. I was doing, we call it rent to rent in London, very popular, and that's before Airbnb and so on. And there you go. The whole situation changed. Because guess what happened next month after I rent the house and I rent the rooms individually. So because I rented the room individually, now I need to pay for my own room. So all of a sudden, my next salary comes from the pub and from Treasures, and I'm plus £600.
Yeah.
I'm like, how made this happen? How come in 1 month? How come doing this operation? Now I'm in plus. And next month I'm in plus. So now the 600 next month is coming 1,200 because it's adding. So I say, oh well, maybe it might be a good idea to do it again. And this is actually
do it again.
What happened. However, I'm with you. My parents, I can describe them like the best poor dad ever. You see, they give me a lot of love. They raise me with looking after myself, and they give me with so much love the most poor dad advice that I can get. Go to university, study hard, and you're gonna have a job. I got a degree in chemical engineer. I have the
Yeah.
diploma.
Yeah.
I give it to them. They make them really, really happy. Never been done my
Never
professional
been employed as
university
a
in my
chemical
life.
engineer.
They
Sure.
have
Yeah.
just like 5 years. I don't know what I was doing there. You know what I mean? But um, so, but
I
Dave,
sat I I sat down one time. I was teaching at an event, and we could break off and do some one-on-one coaching for folks that wanted to see whether their journey would be right. And there were these two guys, and they were business partners, and they were both Harvard University professors. Professors,
wow, there you
right?
go.
One was in economics, and the other was in history, I think. And they wanted to start a real estate investing company, buying and selling houses and stuff on the side. And I sit down with these guys, Harry, and they have been trying to do this business for 4 years.
Wow.
Zero results, right? Zero results. And I sat down with these guys, and I'm qualifying them. I'm trying to see what they need and where they're what's blocking them from moving forward. And it was their engineering backgrounds. It was their intelligence. It was, they wanted to study more. They wanted
Mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm.
underwrite some more.
And until
They
you don't
wanted, they had
implement
the,
more, and until you don't do it.
yeah, analysis paralysis. And this kid from the council estate in the south of England, I slapped the pair of these guys. I'm like, what are you clowns doing? You can't call me a clown. I went to
Well,
Harvard. I said, you're a clown and you're a donkey. You got to put some feet on the street. You got to make an
I,
offer. You got to talk to somebody, So it's
I,
interesting how people operate for sure.
Dave, on the other hand, you see, this in UK also we have this common problem in United States as well. You see that nobody come and talk about financial education. Nobody,
Oh, it's
but
bad.
life. But you know how stressful and how you've been there. I'm so glad, honestly,
Sure.
and I know why your courses leader ask you to teach the stuff because they instantly recognize that the people will resonate more with you than even with them because they even don't
Yes.
remember. Maybe they have different background. They already maybe the
Yes.
parents were property entrepreneurs. So, like for example, you see now the
Yes.
president of Donald Trump, regard any political views that we might have, something is for sure.
Yeah.
Look, these kids raising in a home that they know what is profit, that they know what is
Yeah.
tax, that they know what is to have employees, that they know that they can live on their own terms. They know that they can run
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that they're very lucky. I wish, or we wish, that we raised in this type of environment. Unfortunately, we didn't. So.
Mm,
We don't
mm,
have any way from land. We don't have any kind of remote to follow. They don't teach a financial education on the university or in the school or in
mm,
UK or whatever, and then we start to because we don't have this financial education, we start to take some buying decisions where we're buying
mhm,
ourselves liability. And let me get you something, Dave. When things get
mm,
ugly, you
mm,
do lose your
mm,
house. You do
mm,
lose
mm.
everything. You create a lot of stress. Some people jump out of the bridge. Some people have heart attack. So this financial education, obviously for me, like I said, was what kind of by accident. I was pushed so
Sure.
hard against the wall that I have no choice to
As was
become an
I.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. As was
I
I.
didn't have
Yeah. Me
no
too.
choice. So and that's why I know that they trust you to teach this stuff because they knew
Yeah.
that you're more qualified to teach the people
Yeah.
how they can change the situation than even
Sure.
themselves, and that's why they give you the role.
You talk about financial education, and this is going to sound so rudimentary, right? It's going to sound so simple. It almost sounds dumb. But I remember one of my mentors said to me one time, Dave, what's the difference between a liability and an asset? And we'd talk about it for a little while. And then he'd say, what's the number one investment that most people have? And everybody would say their primary residence, their house, right? And then he would say to them, let's go back to what is an asset and what is a liability. What's the definition? And he simplified it all the way down. And he said, an asset will put capital into my pocket. A liability will take money out of my pocket. It's as simple as that when you boil it down. I'm like, okay, I got that. He said, so let's talk again about that primary residence. Let's talk about your house with a 30-year mortgage on it. Is it an asset or is it a liability? And you would see people fighting in the room, bro. They'd be going like this, Harry. They'd be like, it's my number one asset. No, it's the bank's number one asset, right? The bank, because you pay the bank every month.
Absolutely.
For you. And then they bring up the argument, well, I have equity, right? I have value in the home. I only owe 200 and it's worth 700. I'm worth $500,000. No, you have 500,000 soldiers sitting in the barracks doing absolutely nothing. That's what you have. You have
the bank is
money.
using them, though. It's the bank who's using your money.
Yeah. You can go, what's this? You can go to the bank. You can go to any bank in America right now, and they will give you what's called a CD, a certificate of deposit. It's like a short savings account. And you'll see a sign right in the lobby of the bank, and it'll say, CD. Right now they're like 4%. So they'll lock up your money for 4%, and then right above it on the same banner, it will say 30-year fixed mortgages 9%.
Which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? It's right in front of you.
9%. They take my money, they give me 4%. They take my money, they give me 4%, and then they take my money and they lend it to somebody else at 7, 8, 9%. That's my money that they're working with. And when I started to see these things, I'm like, you know what? I gotta be in the middle. I gotta be in the middle. I want to be making money in the gap. And it's just a change in mindset. And I'm blessed because I can pass that on to my boys.
And you don't need to be smart. I don't think that I'm smart. I don't think that I'm smart. Robert Kiyosaki have another book, Why a Student A Work for a Student C, right? And and you know how many people I know people that have read so many books. I'm so smart, so clever.
Sure.
And you ask about any topic, about history, you talk about churches, you talk about anything, they will tell you right away, this is how it is, blah, 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 blah. And then they're always broke. I'm like, guys, why you rather than be reading 3,000 books about history, geography, because you want to be the I know everything guy and you're so clever.
It's ego.
And you want to be why? Instead, you take few books about real estate or more basic, how to develop a product and how to sell it. And you know what? You learn in this probably will be 2-3 books. You will never broke again, because if you learn a little bit about this, you will have money.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.